the Pledge of Allegiance, and we can kind of start and won't get too far ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you guys for coming to this afternoon's workshop where we're continuing the personnel policy, and we are on page 18.
We didn't finish holidays, did we?
No, we did not finish holidays. Is that still, that's under page, well, our page 18.
Right,
You're
it's okay,
looking
just
at-
make, that's why I want to make sure we're in the same spot.
Yeah. I might have put in some different wording. I can't remember yours. Oh no, you have it on there. Well, that's the new one, I think. I think some of this is new wording.
Are you actually into the holiday or the
No,
paragraph
that was
above?
still under earned.
Yeah, accumulated is new.
Right, we're on the first sentence where it says employees shall take their department heads adequate notice of time which they use. And we used to use the word take, and it's changing it to earn time for the
Yeah.
purpose of vacation. I didn't have purpose of vacation in there before.
Where are, I'm sorry, under what heading are you? Still-
I'm still
Just above
under-
holidays, the
just
paragraph
above-
above
Oh,
holidays.
I beg your pardon, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we had talked about putting, that you can take it at more than one increment, intervals, so that's in there too.
As needed.
That's, yeah. But then really the next one that you're at was the holidays that you were talking about. You know, I had asked you first if transfer station and police department holidays could be, they get 2 checks a year, as does the fire, but I didn't include them in this because I think it already says it in part of their policy connected to this. But before it was that we would just pay them half, wherever you were, but I didn't think that they should be paid half. I thought they should be paid just for the holidays that they've so far worked. So that's why it says for the pay during the second period of July and the second half during the second pay period of December. So if you're okay with that, that just makes it more clear that.
If they're okay with it, I mean, myself, if the holiday landed in that week, I'd want to be paid for it that week and not
If
wait
you,
till
right, well, that's
June,
why I
but-
did the second period of July,
Yeah.
because it would include 4th of July, and there wouldn't be any other holiday until the end of August.
I mean, most of them like it because it's a big, huge check
Mm.
they get, but I don't know if you taxed more because it's more in there. or
Well,
how
we
that
have to
works.
do 2 separate checks, and maybe that should say that in here too. We do need to do 2 separate checks for
Yeah,
the
so it's not
holiday
a
pay,
regular
because it
paycheck.
does, and it says that in the police end of things, the fire end of things, but it doesn't say it in this one, so I'll put that in here, that,
Up
Maybe.
above though, where it talks for the purpose of vacation, above holidays in that paragraph,
yep,
do we want to mention that says sick time too? But, I mean, in that aspect, you're telling them that they're getting pre-approval to use their time for vacation. I don't know, I mean, sometimes more words make it more confusing, but for the purpose of earned time off.
So no earned time shall be granted for the purpose of vacation if doing so the effects of essential, okay, so you want me to say,
Because usually, quite often, you're not going to have prior notice that somebody's going to be sick and you need next Tuesday off until
right, that's
Monday
the
night or
thing,
Tuesday
yeah,
morning.
so you're really just saying for vacation that
vacation,
you want
yep.
permission to actually,
That makes sense, that way.
okay. Yeah, that's a new section. I think.
That I don't have.
Yeah, I'll send you this
That's okay.
policy.
Yeah.
All set with page 18 then?
I didn't have anything else. Well, except, did you decide on what you wanted to do with the holidays?
I mean, if they're fine getting 2 checks a year, that works for me.
Okay, but also the section about falling on a Saturday and Sunday. We kind of ended that conversation
Yeah.
last time and didn't really. I will tell you that the word's already gotten out and it wasn't,
Of course not. I mean, myself, I think And that's what I see in most communities, is the selectmen set the holiday schedule in December for the following year.
Mhm. And we can do that if you want to leave this and then say, and then have me put something in here about how the selectmen will set the holiday schedule first meeting of December.
Yeah, works for
Sounds
me.
good for me.
Yeah, and I mean, having Christmas and New Year's fall on a Saturday and Sunday, that's not gonna happen for 5 or 6 years now. I would think it just happened, so. And we can de-strike through the furlough day and Columbus Day.
I see, now we're at the part where I've wanted
This
to
is the
remind
order.
myself to ask you these.
Yeah.
In my regular, I've put that back in
Mm-hmm.
because you made it, you know, you guys stated at the last
I think
meeting
so,
that you
right?
wanted the furlough days still.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
That's people using 2 earned days to take those days off. Town hall is closed on those days,
It's not Thanksgiving, it's the day after.
day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right, so the transfer station's closed. That's the hardest one because people are not happy
So
with
why
that.
don't we, can you separate them?
Well, no,
Just
because
the
everybody
transfer station?
feels that employees group 1, which is all of us except fire and police. It was stated when these first came out that all of group 1 employees would be off. And group 2 employees would be open because they're needed as ambulance
That's
and
usually a
fire.
Friday, right? After,
Columbus is Monday.
yeah, but I mean,
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is Friday,
Right.
so
That's the day.
it'd be, if they could, it's
They
still
go
open on
Saturday.
Saturday, so I'd
Yeah.
be fine with that.
And a lot of it is just getting the signs out and clearly marked ahead of time. They close Columbus Day, and then it is what it is. Same with the police department, that administration office should be closed Monday.
Right.
We'll draw
I've
straws,
changed-
who's gonna go down there on Monday and check.
Yeah. I changed the wording from earned sick time to banked sick time.
Yeah.
Because we all refer to, the employees that have been here a while have that banked sick time that we no longer accumulate to. So there's a couple things that I crossed out, changed the wording a little bit.
And this bank sick time is for employees that were here before we changed it. And the problem was, it was hundreds and hundreds of hours that multiple employees had. It was, I think we petered almost $100,000 worth of, if somebody
Everybody
called.
had the 720 hours
Yeah.
to use, to take if they left, or
Now, do they have to take them every year, or do they roll?
banked sick time. There's a difference between regular earned time and bank time. Bank time is from prior, if you worked here prior to 2010, you have banked sick time. So I have like 580 hours of bank time. So what this is saying is that I need to use my bank time first, if I'm sick or out or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Use this first, and then jump into my earned time, and then we can use extended if you needed to.
Should there be a
But-
cap on that? I mean, you
Well,
could store
exact-
hundreds of
That's,
Well, you
hours.
can't do
that's
it
why we went
anymore.
to the earned time. So a new employee now, straight earned time. At the end of the year, you got 100 hours, you didn't use them unless you had a good excuse, like, most of your department was gone, you were the only one, you had to hold, you couldn't use your vacation times, whatever, then you lose them.
Right. 48 hours is what you can roll over each,
Yeah.
for one time. So if I get to the end of the year this year and I have 50 hours, I can roll over 48 of those to next year.
Is that what
But can
rolls
only
for
happen-
us?
Nope.
That
That's in
rolls
this-
over automatically?
That rolls over, which was intended to be the sick days,
Yeah,
to just roll over for that one time, but then it would go away. Well,
yeah, you gotta use them.
yeah,
And that's
Well, I kind of
encouraging.
like it, just for the reason of what just happened with one of your employees, how badly, like, he got sick, that he needed extra
Right.
time. I think that would have worked good if he had some
if
bank
you had even
time.
bank, but we don't bank time anymore. That 48 hours that I'm talking about is not banked.
So we're not
That's
banking at
only-
all?
No,
He-
not at all.
that-
This is old policy. This is
Yeah.
part of the old policy.
The thought was that you'd have short-term disability, Aflac or something like that,
I see,
you know,
sure,
and cover
yeah.
yourself.
Mhm.
which we don't. So you do run into, we have another incident where we have a newer, person, been with us for a couple years, same thing, they have their earn time, but now they have to go out for surgery. So I've put some wording in here that I want you to look at when you get down to the employee with, sick time, under the extended time.
Yeah.
That they have to use 40 hours of their accumulated earn time first, then you can jump into the extended sick time policy,
Now,
which
does
is
that-
what this other employee is gonna have to do
Are
also.
we trying to, that'll accomplish trying to use it up? That's what.
No, these are new employees that don't have time banked. These are new employees that just have their earn time,
Mhm.
and then they get into the extended sick time. So, you're getting to the point where because we've had a lot of people retire, so you're
Yeah.
getting into the part where most employees are just falling under where they have their
Earn
earn
time.
time, and then they have the extended sick time if something happens. But a couple of things that I've put in here, is the employee will use 40 hours of accumulated earn time before they can use any banked sick time. So
And
this
that's
is,
just
this
for the
is for an
front.
employee like myself, where I have banked sick time, so I would have to use 40 hours of my regular earn time for this year, then I can jump into my bank sick time.
And if you don't use any of that banked time goes away at the end of the year.
Not mine.
Not yours, because you fall under.
From 2010, prior to 2010, I had banked sick time.
So what
That
happens
just
with that
stays
bank time? If, let's say you retired today, you would get all that back.
50%.
Okay, so can you collect that anytime?
No.
There's
What do you
no
mean?
buyout.
There's no buyout, right, there's no buyout. No, it just sits there, and if something,
And drastic happens, it's there for you, to be used, which I like that. I mean,
for the older employees, for the newer ones, they don't have that.
it's okay, because we're eliminating it from the policy.
Right.
Okay.
And people who are elected, they have the same thing, they can do the same
They
thing.
can, because years ago, the selectmen took a vote, I don't remember what year, but we do have minutes from it, that said that they would fall under the personnel policy just as
Tax
a
collector,
regular
tax
employee.
collector.
Yeah,
Right. Where before, they didn't have that written in there.
Oh,
We really had to do that in order to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to after we offer them
Yeah.
insurance and stuff, we
Oh.
had to put that in the minutes.
so if you wanted to take your banked time, say you were sick and you took your 40 hours, whatever you had, and then you needed time for rest or whatever, could you take some of your banked time for that?
You can use that bank time even if you're not sick.
But you couldn't use it for
Right,
like
but
a
that's used 2
vacation
to 1.
time.
So if you
So
take
if I
one
take
day off,
one-
you take 2 days of bank time.
Right,
Well,
unless it's only for sick. If it's for sick, it's for sick. But if it's for something else, if I decided I
need a day off.
needed a
to
day
do
off
something at home.
to regroup,
Yeah,
you take it 2 to 1.
so I guess that's all in honesty.
Right. Right.
And we're all pretty honest.
Yeah, if you have these bank days, I've still used them here and there. If I've had to go to a doctor's appointment, but I'm coming back to work,
Mhm.
I'll use my bank time.
Okay,
Instead of
'cause
my
you can-
earned time
'cause
for
you
this
can
year.
so you don't have to use the whole day, you can use
No,
hours.
you can use the hours.
Oh, that's kind
Right.
of cool. Okay.
So the tax collector and town clerk can do the same thing.
What about the selectmen?
Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
You didn't write, they're elected.
You've got any bank time, Charlie. You can do that.
Just send me to the bank, okay?
Now, a couple questions that have come up in the past is, and I put this in here, but this is highlighted just for you guys to decide about whether or not a full-time employee who have banked sick time may donate some of their time to another full-time employee who has exhausted all of their bank sick time due to a serious illness.
I
Are
like
you in
that.
favor of people giving their time to
Yes, because
somebody
we could have
else?
this could just happen, that somebody was
Yep.
willing to donate a week of their time
Yeah.
because the other one needed it.
Right.
And if somebody's getting $30 an hour and donates it to somebody getting $10 an hour, it's an hour for an hour,
Yeah,
not
Yeah, I'm with
Not
that,
sure
I
what
understand.
ratio.
It's
Yeah,
not the value of
no,
that hour.
correct.
Now, you're talking bank time, which would be your longer employer, but I
Right.
think you're talking new employees too.
Well, the new, well, I was just.
Oh, yeah, I did
thinking-
write
I
bank.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
I
we
did
may want to
say,
put that in another
I
spot too.
could actually change, if you wanted to say banked / earned.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
But it's, I think that it should be purely emergency only.
But it says due to serious illness.
And I guess it would be brought to the board and decided on by the board.
So it's either
Well,
one,
time
it's
is-
bank
Other
time
time,
or
yeah.
earned time.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Bank time or earned
Or
time.
earned time.
Right. Just,
Okay.
approval,
By you, Tricia,
oh, okay.
or if you want us
Yeah, you
to.
don't need to, as far as I'm concerned, you wouldn't have to track us down.
No.
That's a personnel issue or administration.
I'm good with that.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave that. So we'll leave.
You,
Yeah, so if you smell it, it's.
I thought it was
covered.
3 days.
No, I'm covered. It was bleaching hands.
Let's do it.
$100,000. That much better.
Bank, so
yeah.
the
It's a
employee who
moving
used
valve.
40 hours of accumulated time before they can, so you do agree with that they should use 40 hours of their time first before they use their accumulated earned time? That was the assumption, does that, I mean, when we wrote this back in 2010, I was always under the assumption that that's what you did because it talked about the 40 hours at the beginning, but it wasn't clear. It didn't specifically say that you had to use 40 hours.
Yeah, because you
Because-
said if you need to be out for more than 40 hours.
Right. Right, because up the top I had said if you, need to be out for more than 40 hours, and you have a note, you could go into this extended.
This is what you earn if you're here a year, or is that what you can bank?
There's no more banking.
So this is all earned. So somebody earns 720 hours, like Teresa would earn 720 hours per year just for being here for 20 years.
Days. Oh, this is a short,
ED.
This is the short term, this is the
Yeah.
extended sick time policy where you've already used 40 hours of your earned time,
mhm.
because that's what we're telling them they need to do, use 40 hours. Then you can, even if you have more than 40 hours, because what I have found out from a couple that have used this is they've used their 40, but they might have 24 left
Yeah,
in there to use till the end of the year, but they can jump to the extended and leave the 24, because the 24 could be for after they get back,
mhm.
and they still gotta follow up with the doctor. If you don't give them anything still in there, they've got nothing. They have to take a day off to go to the doctor, and they have nothing to use, because the extended sick time doesn't work anymore, and they have no more earned time if you make them use all of their earned time first. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
that's kind of why I put just the 40 and not like all accumulated earned time, because it,
And again, this is the honor system that somebody can come in with a really blank doctor's note that says they can't sit in a chair or whatever, and take their 40 hours and then come down here and grab another 120 hours, so that's gonna give them, a month off.
Well, that's why it's up to you
right,
to
exactly.
investigate that.
Right.
If there's such a.
I mean, if you got a note from the doctors, there's nothing you can do, you're not gonna
That's
call
right.
and
Right.
Yeah.
ask them where we got his
Now, the
degree.
one we just got was very specific. It said this person could come back on such and such a date. He had to do light duty
Mm.
until such and such a date, and then he could go back to
But we all
work,
knew
working full.
what had happened. So
Right,
it's understood, I mean, that's,
right. But when you have somebody that you don't know what's really happening with them, and they just are out, and then all of a sudden they just show up with a doctor's note, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
So, and I changed it to hours versus consecutive days, because
Yep.
when we tested this last year, it didn't
We're gonna
work
stick
with
with
the days.
Yep.
The hours. Now, I wrote different for fire, because they, and I didn't have time to figure it all out, but they actually, the way they earn time is different than the way we earn time, because
Mhm.
they work different hours. They work 42 in a week, 42, 48, 44, something like that. So it earns differently than the way we do it. So when we get to fire, we
Yeah,
can
before we
look at
scroll
that.
down, if I use all my vacation time, January, February, and I become sick in March, then with a doctor's note, I'd still be good for 120 hours. If I was a one-year employee.
I think, well, I think they should give us 40 hours with no pay, but it doesn't say that.
No.
And should they? I mean, I don't know. That's up to you guys. Should they give us, if they've used everything and then they get sick in June?
Nobody else would. I mean, I think it's gone, it's gone. I mean,
So this is kind of.
that's where if it's emergency and you got, you got, obviously there's people on this.
Well, this is the thing. So say somebody's being real, so they started in December of this year, 2013. So they start earning their time. So then in 6 months, they can start taking it. So they take it on good faith that, okay, well, it's summertime now, I'm gonna take my vacation. They happen to use all of their 88 hours.
88 hours.
Yeah, they happen to use all their 88 hours, and in December 15th, they have a heart attack. So they have no earned time to give you, where we say they gotta give us 40. But now they do qualify under the 0 to 1 years of sick time of 120 hours. Do you give them the 120 hours, or do you make them not get paid for 40, and then their 120 hours jumps in?
If it's legitimately sick, I don't have a problem
I know.
helping an employee.
Right, I mean, it would
but
be bad, I mean, it feels bad.
It's gonna
but
get
not-
misused is the only
Right.
concern I have. And once it's misused, then we come
Then we
back
come
through
back
and
and
just erase
revisit
it all.
again.
Discipline. We erase it.
Yeah.
So you're good with changing
So
it
this
to
is
hours?
kind of in-house Affleck. Oh, definitely.
And I actually put that it can only be used once a year,
Yep, yeah.
right? You wouldn't want it per injury or per illness.
No, once a year. I mean, that's a pretty good, an extra for a one-year employee, for us to get in 88 hours, and then they're gonna get 120 on top of that, so 228 hours.
Yeah, if
The
somebody's
first-
really
the
that
first year.
sick,
It's
then
4 weeks,
probably shouldn't be working.
Well, now,
5 weeks.
per 40-hour person. So this is somewhat like self-insurance, so they are getting somewhat of a Aflac, kind of. We're not gonna pay your bills, but you still get 3 weeks pay.
And the one under that is anybody without bank sick time, which it basically says
New
the same.
employees.
These are new employees.
Except you might want to throw in there, could I argue the fact that you don't exclude me as a part-time employee? You don't specify that that's full-time employees. I don't have accrued sick time.
Yeah.
So could I say, oh, I gotta be out,
Ah, well, good point.
I'm gonna have my nose done. And,
Yep,
You
do
know,
we want
so
to
you
say
might want to-
specifically
Full-time? Yeah,
full?
if the full-time employee.
Full-time.
and the accrue is back, every time I see accrue it's back.
Now, does a part-time be able to accrue half of it?
You get no.
Yeah.
So you don't get vacation time now?
No, and I knew it wasn't intended, but because it doesn't specify,
Specify, we
Yeah.
want to make sure that, that's a good point.
someone
Yep.
else might
Right.
choose to.
Yep.
So I'll set with page 19, under 20. Changing the days to hours, that works.
Okay.
So with bereavement, jury duty.
I'm sorry, Kenny, I
So
didn't
we're on-
get that. Where, you're on page 20?
Well,
Which
no, we're on page
which
19.
heading?
So, workers' comp, we're all set. Bereavement. Okay, yeah, bereavement and jury duty is on 18. It does say stepchild, okay, yeah, I'll make sure it says stepchild.
Under bereavement?
Yeah, because that wasn't in there before. I didn't have anything to change under jury duty or workers' compensation.
No.
Tell you, you looked at
And
it.
you
I
did
have
bereavement
yours.
too, right?
We did with bereavement, no.
Next change is insurance.
Yeah, Michelle and I were just talking about this. She went to a class a little bit ago, and then I went to a class, and I think we both are under this understanding with the new healthcare reform that the probationary period for insurance now is going to be put down to 2 months, 60 days versus 3. I will double check that. I just wanted to get it in there so that you had an idea that this is what's gonna happen as the first of the year.
And you can just word it something that
Yeah,
will change as needed.
Yeah, I didn't, I just kind of threw that
As
in
per the
there. I
personnel
didn't,
policy, as per this policy.
mhm. Overtime, I think, is where we're gonna have to put Ken's thing in
The
there
PD.
about his, right, about the PD.
They don't have a whole separate policy themselves?
No. They have another policy,
Yeah,
but they have this,
Yeah.
and then they stretch it further with their policy, like for
Yeah.
workers' comp or, I mean, that kind of stuff. Because we have fire in here too.
that's what I was
Yeah,
wondering if you had a separate thing. So yeah, right now overtime,
yep.
unless he's got more issues, then you can just set up a whole nother section for PD. Like
Well,
fire
originally,
and
a couple of years ago, when we were talking about this policy, he said, oh, I got some things that I want to put in there, but I haven't received them yet, so I'll see if he has anything else he needs in here. Compensation, I didn't have any wording to change or look.
Do you have anybody using that?
Nope.
It's really
It's pretty
hard
much
to track.
known that you can't have comp time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not sure where it would come into play.
Well, you can see highs and
Yes.
lows. I think Parks and
Yeah.
Rec was a big one for using it all the time, and then you have your high week and then your low week, and it all balanced out.
Now, I was asked by one of the, in my survey, about salaried employees, how many hours they're supposed to work. I don't know that it should get covered in the personnel policy, or if that's just Department of Labor thing. But it is up to you, so if you want to put in here something about salary employees, you know, something to the fact of, it's suggested that most salary employees work 40 or more hours,
Yeah.
but if you happen to work shorter hours on one week, it's expected that you work longer hours than the following week to make sure you equal at least 80. I mean, I don't know if
In
you
the
want.
pay period.
In the pay
Yeah.
period, do you want something in the policy stating that, or?
Well, it's always a little more than a regular week if you're salary anyway, right? 24 hours or 42 is a,
I mean, in the summer, I would say that I'm just strictly 40 hours. I work 40 hours, but in this time of the year, like after your meetings, both of these went Mondays, I stayed a little longer, you know, I ended up
Budget
with a
season.
few extra hours, you know. But there are times of the year that you don't have to, so I would say and it's probably like that for most department heads.
Mm.
Sometimes they're busier than others, and, you know, consistently, do most of them work over 40?
that's what I'm saying, so it's a 40 plus.
40
As
plus,
long as your
depending
job's
on,
being done.
right, right.
How would you word that?
Yeah, I
think,
don't know.
80 hours within the pay period. Or they use some of their earn time.
Right. Do you want me to try to write something up to,
Yeah.
so here's where we get into the fire personnel pay policy. I crossed off day shift worker because we don't really have a day shift worker. If you look at the definition, we're generally on the rotating shift
Yeah.
worker. I'm not sure why originally that day shift worker was put in there. I could double check with Todd to see, because I think Todd and Robin really worked on this whole fire policy. I'm not sure why that's there, which means then the overtime wording for your day shift worker
Yep.
doesn't
pull that
really
out.
apply. I was gonna pull them out, but I'll double check with Todd first.
At the bottom of page 22, you have a bold text policy.
Is that me?
Is that you? Oh, that's just goes under, that, because this policy goes under here. It's supposed to be here, it just didn't jump down, the word policy. This is the policy,
Oh,
those are the
that's
definitions.
of those
Yeah,
policies.
definitions
Yep.
of the policy, it just needs to come down. But the other one also that I've heard from the fire guys a lot is, number 4, under overtime. How it says, all employees who attend regularly scheduled required monthly trainings and meetings shall be paid at the employee's regular base rate. I've got an email out to LGC because I don't know if that's quite
Legal.
legal.
Um,
They're regular employees, and if they come back, For a
Regularly
meeting.
scheduled meetings monthly. I worked for several companies when we'd drive an hour for work and we'd get straight time for driving, and if we worked on site for more than 40 hours, we'd get overtime for that. But, I mean, they kind of looked at it as, they didn't need to pay me for driving whatsoever, they could just pay me for when I started there. I would call it's part of their, yeah, I mean, let's see what LGC has.
I'll see
to
what
say.
LGC says, because it's just, you know, they're there for the 12 hours, and then they stay for a meeting. I mean, I would think that it would be the same as for a regular employee, if they're,
The-
you know, if they're 8 hours and their meeting runs 2 hours over.
And the problem is, I mean, it's similar to you, you're here for a meeting one night, you can't, these guys can't just come in at 8 o'clock the next morning because they're gonna miss the heart attack at 6 o'clock. So they can't move the hours around and make it all work out for 42, 44 hours a week, so.
Right.
that's
And they're
mostly-
required to go to these meetings, so
Mhm.
making them required to go seems like.
But on
they've
the other
already worked
aspect, if
regular-
they don't have their training or their qualifying hours to keep sharp to their skills, then, I mean, testing and stuff.
Mm.
We'll see how
Let's see what
LGC, and see what the fire
says.
chief
Yeah,
has for that.
sometimes I don't think that we, you know, we need to always pay for them to learn everything, and, I mean, that's like, are we gonna send everybody to college to learn?
Well, it's continuing education, you send everybody through, but that's
Yeah.
at regular time. It's more when you're doing overtime, because you're talking, for them, it's 4 people, but.
Right, see, when we do our trainings, we generally go during the
during-
day.
Exactly,
During the
close it up
workday,
and
we
go.
close it up and
Yeah.
go, but they can't do that, so they do everything at night. Now, I will tell you though, if some employee has worked 8 hours and then they go to a meeting at night, I know they put in for it.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
And they're getting overtime. So that's kind of the same as,
Are they getting overtime, or are they closing shop up earlier sometime during that week?
nope, generally overtime.
So meetings should be at base pay, is that what this is trying to say?
They're being paid at base rate, not overtime. And I'm wondering whether or not it should be overtime for the
And you're
meetings.
just waiting for LGC to tell you
Yeah.
that that's the right.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know on that. I just wanted to not forget that I needed to ask that question.
What about the week when they only work, well, because of the 4 on, 4 off,
Yeah, I
and the
know.
pay week changes,
Yeah.
so it might be, you only
I know.
work 3 days this week.
That's what I'm saying, it must all work out.
Well, a shift, it's what, 36 hours, so then if they had,
Then if they had, so it would have to say something to the fact of, if you've worked in a 7-day period or a 10-day period or what, however you,
There's a
7-day,
seven. Yeah,
7-day
it's
period,
after 40, right?
42 hours, then we pay you overtime after that. But if their week happens to fall that it's not,
Yeah.
I did think
Depending
of that
on
when
the
it was
training.
brought to me, I don't know how.
I mean, you really
So-
can't conceive that so-and-so lives an hour and a half away, and he wasn't working that day, and he has to drive all the way over just for the meeting. Well,
Right.
it's not my fault where you live.
I wonder if that's why they did it this way, because of the, sometimes, it's not always 4
It's
days,
not always
sometimes
4
it's
days.
3, and,
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
that could be.
I don't know. Maybe it's a record keep, use a record keep.
Okay. Let's see, I highlighted holidays. Why did I highlight holidays? Oh, I thought, well, here, for one of them, I thought we would pay them, see how it does say separate check? Which is fine, but that it should be the last pay period of July, not June.
Mhm.
Like the other two, right, for holidays. Yeah, I guess maybe that's why I.
So
Is anything else that's
if
blinking?
they're scheduled to work Christmas, they just work Christmas?
They would work Christmas, and then they would get paid holiday pay.
So they're still being paid for the holidays.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Which I
highlighted,
could see if Christmas work fell on a Saturday for them, and they had to work it, then that would be paid. When we were talking prior.
hmm. Um, So, let's see, what the hell is paid? Should we pay them, because they work 12-hour shifts, should they be getting 12-hour holiday pay versus 8? Because I will tell you that even with the town clerk and the tax collector, if it's on a Monday, well, Angie only, works 7.5 hours,
Mhm.
she only takes 7.5 hours of holiday. And Valerie, if it's a Monday, she'd get 6.5 hours.
Because that's the hour she's open.
Yeah, because that's her normal open hours. So do you do that for these guys where their normal payday is a 12-hour day?
At least by switching their vacation day into hours, they can take as many hours as they want for a
For
vacation day.
vacation, right.
Because we're not looking at 8-hour pay, because we're looking at hours there. So now it's a holiday pay. And I think if they work 12 hours, they should have a 12-hour
12-hour
holiday.
holiday. Mm.
We'll kill the chief's budget.
I'll have it for you. 12-hour holiday. And then, on all these holiday pays, I guess somewhere it should be stated that the employee was actually employed with us during the time of the holiday. So, like, say, one of the new guys down at the police or fire, they didn't start till June.
Oh,
But we have holidays, January, February,
you don't count all
May.
the checks.
We don't want to give them those holidays, we want to make sure, so somewhere in this policy, I'm going to throw in probably that you're employed with the town of Wakefield during the holidays that
Yeah.
are accumulated. Okay.
So that would mean you'd be here for a year before you're out.
Well, no, because July, the end of July will be the day of the first check. If somebody got started in June, he'll get 4th of July, he or she will get 4th of July. Because in here, it doesn't
He's
say,
not gonna get,
everybody gets holidays no matter how long they've been working
Mhm.
for us. Bear with me, I just gotta cross this off so I don't forget
Where it says swapping shifts, is that the last part of the fire EMS policy?
Yes.
Maybe just a line across or something.
Once we redo it, it's because it's separated from the rest of the fire EMS.
Well, the next one just comes up with adoption, which is a small font, and then longevity is a bigger font.
So, yeah, I don't know why adoption is there, quite frankly.
I
You
know.
at the beginning or the end.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, why is this in there? I thought that when I just read that.
Maybe that should just come out and be put at the end.
Right. Oops. Ah, my computer didn't. Adoption at the end. And what do you want me to do with swapping shifts? Anything?
Because
I
it
was
comes
just
up-
saying,
Because it
on the
comes
new
up-
page,
Oh, I
it's-
see what you mean,
Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of sitting
So
there,
it's
but it may not
It
be
may
on
not
the
be
new
once
page
we
when
get it all
finish.
changed
Yeah,
around.
So make sure it ties in.
Either a footer there that shows that the adoption of longevity was not just fire EMS, we're back into the policies. for
Oh, the
everybody.
longevity, yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Are you still okay with longevity?
budget season will be the determining factor for that. I've heard the assessment and appraisals for the town was down about 18 million or so that's gonna affect something.
Let's see.
So the longevity is for somebody that's been here 10 years,
Yep,
and it's $300 for a year, and $50 after that for a maximum of $1,000.
right.
And then they get raises and stuff like that.
No, that's just an added bonus or
Well,
something.
she said, usually we'll have to look at mine. We'll just-
I'll be a town employee.
Expenses. Yes,
That's just saying pre-approval before reimbursement.
oh, okay, yep. Yeah, which we do. Actual expenses incurred, oh, by this. Within 7 days of payment of such expenses on a form prescribed. Is that just a regular,
That
regular
little
request form?
request for payment, I would say that's.
We have that on the form. Maybe granted by the board on special circumstances, maybe will be handled by case. You wanna leave that in there?
That seemed fine.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's-
if it should go in with the earn time and stuff, or it's fine where it is.
Okay, I'll kind of look at it and see.
Next is family and medical leave.
Yeah. Which I think we refer a lot to Department of Labor's,
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
if we leave it in there, we wanna make sure it meets the current laws, or take it out, and we have to follow the current labor laws anyways.
well, I know a lot of that is correct, because I have looked into that recently, but this is basically just a guideline. I think we probably should say, we could leave it and then say something to the fact, please refer to Department of Labor laws for further information.
It's like 30 days notice, that's only a courteous thing, I don't believe that's in the law.
Must provide the town with 30 days advance written notice or as soon as possible under emergency circumstances. Well, yeah, it might not be, yeah, that might just be a town thing because, but it is good to have, obviously.
Exactly,
because it was-
But I don't think we could be more stringent than the federal laws.
Right,
so it's-
right.
It's useless,
Mm.
but intermediate and reduced leave looks all right.
Certification, that's right.
Yeah.
certification one was a little, Tony highlighted a nice section underneath, if leave is requested for birth or adoption of a healthy child or to care for a sick parent, combination of 12 weeks will be allowed. And then it has the next sentence, which almost makes it sound like, are we taking more than 1 week?
24 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why this actually, if leave is requested, why do we have, that's under Family Medical Leave Act.
Mhm.
I don't know why we have it in there.
Yeah, just look at
I
the,
think all of this is,
Right,
I think all of this is
part of that family,
Yes.
yeah. Maybe I'll look at the wording a little bit more on
Yeah.
the Family Medical Leave Act for that one.
you may be able to reduce some of it.
Yeah. Police may elect to use paid accrued leave during emergencies.
And I guess, are they accruing earned time if they're out for 12 weeks?
Yeah.
Then he's still accruing
I think
vacation,
so.
so then they can come back after 12 weeks out and take a week vacation? And I think that's labor laws in that aspect.
Right.
I can't see what
That's Valerie probably.
Oh.
Yeah, it is Valerie. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so they can use their leave time as, when they're out for those 12 weeks.
Seems kind of odd, doesn't it?
You're on vacation time while you're on vacation? So if you took a week off, 40 hours, you were in 4 hours vacation time, so it really was 36. You get paid for your 40, but you've already got another 4 earned. I'm down to job restoration.
Okay. Oops.
I think just something where at the beginning we're practical, we're feasible, we're,
Sorry, my computer jumped up. I gotta get down.
Instead in most cases,
yeah.
where feasible upon returning, when feasible.
Where you, in most cases upon returning from leave, the employee will restore the same as an equivalent position.
I guess just something a little bit stronger than in most cases.
Okay.
Because they're out on that medical leave act, you don't have to give them the same job back when they come.
Right, you just have to make a position available.
It's a
As
position.
a position, doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the same one they were at.
Exactly.
And we just went through that.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I'm down to IX,
Safety policies.
safety policy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good
And
with
we
that.
have a joint loss management committee
Yeah,
that reviews. They do meet quarterly. Okay, yeah, that's all.
part 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this is in here or not. I found it in this computer. Word. sure this was all the same. Yeah, I just read all of this, because I printed it a little bit ago, because I wasn't sure it was in here, and I read all this at lunch today, and it seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't have any changes in it really.
And for the phone, I'm gonna put that in the other section,
Mhm.
which maybe should be in here. If we put employee, email, internet, cell phone.
But
whatever.
here, this is town equipment. and the
Oh,
cell phone
that's
is
true,
is
oh,
the
right,
employees.
that's true, town equipment, yeah. Let's see. Actually, I was gonna ask this question, when I was reading this, it was talking about getting rid of emails and all that kind of stuff within 60 days.
It's on the retention policy,
Yeah.
page 29.
Mm. Thank you, me too. He's looking at mine. Okay, so I mean, I will tell you that that's really a short time frame. I don't know why we have
I've got
that in
some
there
for
to
10
begin with.
years or so on mine. Mine are all just like files and everything.
Right,
The
mine
problem
goes
was
into archives.
somebody came in with the Freedom of Information Act and we had to go and retrieve emails from everybody's computers for years and years and years and years. And we had come up with the policy that if it's important enough, click print, throw it in the file and keep your emails to your data low. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, you just do a search and come up with it. Well, somebody could just do a search and come up with it. Not like we could, but. And come up with the data you're looking for. Because,
I mean, a lot of the stuff I keep in there might be from towns
yeah,
that have, like, say they're talking about their personnel policy, and I'm like, oh, that actually sounds like a pretty
Personnel
good
policy.
policy. I'm gonna
It's
move it
just
over
like
to
this
this file,
one
when I'm
here.
referring, I'm gonna
yeah,
refer
I've
to.
got dozens of folders, everything goes right into it,
Yeah.
and I give the computer to the next person, the
So,
folders are made and all
I
the
mean, it's a
information's
pretty
there.
strict, thing, and it's, you know, how it's saying
60
that.
day, I
That
thought
we're
the
gonna go through and we're gonna get rid of it for them if they
Yeah.
don't, and blah,
I
blah,
thought the
blah.
server was automatic and it just wiped them out every 60 days.
Mm-mm. No,
If
because,
you want to just check around with the other managers and see if that's something they're doing
okay.
and think it's a good idea, if not, I don't care.
Yeah, you have the right to tell us we can hold it for more than 60 days.
No. But I mean, somebody would have to come up to me
And say,
and say, you know, here's, look at my computer, can I keep all these?
Yeah.
And who's gonna decide if I keep them?
You, town administrator, that's how you get to keep yours.
I will say that it was very helpful to go through and read this whole policy.
You forget about half the
Mhm.
stuff every once in a while. We've had so many
It's very good.
situations that come up that you just want to grab it and highlight it up.
there a time frame that you do this? Is it like every 3 years we review the policy?
They do recommend that you do it every couple of years to review
I
it.
can understand.
Yeah,
At
things
least
can
read
change.
it.
But this is my third time in 3 years, so. But before it was some sections, it wasn't the whole thing. I just thought it'd be a good idea to do the whole thing. And I have found some typos that I've just changed, you know.
We also have a part 10, move to 11.
Under employee resignation notification, employee decides to resign their position with more in advance notice of at least 2 weeks if desired. But do we want to state that the board has the right to decide that resignation will be immediate?
Yeah, because we
We've done that.
We want to make that decision. Yeah.
And I would think, I mean, you could go the other way too, that department heads or town administrators, you'd want 4 weeks' notice. But, I mean, at that
2 weeks
point,
desired, and then,
Department heads, if you're a department head, that you should give at least a little more notice than that, so you
town
can,
administrator,
yeah.
so you can replace, but on the other hand, if you've got somebody that only wanted to be here 2 weeks and you keep them here
About-
for 4
Well,
weeks,
that would be,
then
that's where we come into play and make that decision.
right, how about if I just write Board of Selectmen to decide final date of notice?
That's all.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I like that. You know, because that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got somebody that doesn't care anymore,
Right.
Yeah, time to move on.
yeah.
The exit interview,
Exit interview.
that's changed from the last time, so that looks good. Because it was just department heads before with the town administrator, now it's all
No.
employees.
Right. Employees working, employees working under the town administrator shall receive an exit interview.
So if I quit, they've got to,
They've got to go, not to me, to the board.
so I can
So you can really
jump all that in.
Now, what if we decide not to? How do you, I mean, then that's where we would be able to hold something above them?
For an exit interview,
Most people are gonna want one.
I
if
haven't
it's
had one that's
disgruntled.
denied to have one
Mm.
done. They've all come in. You just write something up and put it in their personnel file.
Do they have to do that if they're fired?
Probably not.
That is their exit interview.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do
Well, because this is coming under employee
that.
resignation.
Resignation.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Versus totally.
That was not-
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
So any amendment to this policy should be effective only after approval at your selectmen's meeting properly noticed. Okay, so, it'll be a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
we'll, I'll get this up to date and put it on your,
Okay, we'll get that.
yeah. We, since you're here, we have the information from E911 maps and all that kind of stuff that I had mentioned it, I think though at the meeting that Kenny wasn't at, if, he's coming Wednesday, if you wanted to just take a quick look at what he's going to be, he asked that you guys look at it. So while you're here, I thought that would be a good idea. We'll have to find out how they were actually contracted to do this. I don't remember the board signing something a couple years ago saying that.
So, some mapping,
Yeah, you'll see, it's this huge map of Wakefield that shows all the houses and their 911 addresses. Of course, though, we have some addresses that are in discrepancy, which I have brought to the board, and how do you want to handle them and everything, and the
on some kind of file for like the police department and the fire department? I mean, that's the 911 list. I mean, how does that work?
No, they have a list from the assessing office of like all the maps that we have.
So they can pull up
So
so
they
they
can-
can find
It's
something.
by paper though, it's not in, computer form. I'm not sure if this would come through. I did ask both chiefs to attend Wednesday's meeting also. Because it does, this gives you a whole,
What would you like?
I don't know if we should open the map and show them the map.
This is a book.
That's the book with all the,
The maps and stuff, and this is like, this tells you, like, because I have this in my office. On the original thing,
see, this will have your street actually.
It lists which ones are public and private.
And private. And I think what they're asking is for us to adopt or approve,
Yeah.
subject to approve. It's kind of,
But they're not numbered.
these aren't numbered, I
Yeah,
thought
the
they were.
dispatch ones are all
Yeah,
numbered.
but then when you compare it to that, then it has all the names, and I think that one has or maybe one Charles looking at, has the actual numbers of the houses.
Yeah, I don't see anything about the roads. They want you to confirm that all that information was accurate as of a date certain. They want you to acknowledge some of the road names that they think are confusing.
Yeah, there's some road names here that they have north and south and duplicate names, Cove Road, South Cove Road, Crew Road, North Crew Road, North, that kind of stuff.
Probably on
in
this
this
sheet,
book.
yeah.
Okay, but it might be
No, I
a number in
think it's
there.
this, because I don't see sheet number
Okay,
down here.
okay. It's pretty good.
So they also have confusingly similar sounding names, Ridge Road, which is not us, I don't know where they came up with Ridge, I don't think it was a Ridge Road. But we have Acton Ridge Road, Ballard Ridge Road, Deer Ridge Road, Juniper Ridge Road, Long Ridge Road. So they feel it's confusing, but I don't know that the board wants to go through renaming all of these.
Ones that are
Streets.
clearly that I'd agree with, then I would, yeah, I'd agree with changing them if there are confusing ones, but,
There's only one,
So this is the packet you guys want to call through.
there's only one resident on Ridge Road.
Do we have Ridge Road?
Sure,
Wait,
it says
They're saying it's 60.
isn't that an Ossipee?
62 sheet,
Yeah, sheet number 62. Yeah.
40,
No.
sheet 40.
Oh, that's the one that had, the smaller map has all the
Just
dots
all-
and the houses.
Oh,
It's
just
just
one of
one of
those things down off Blackwood.
Oh,
Anglin Road, Blackwood.
oh.
there's a
Which-
Ridge Road down there?
Yeah,
It's the one that goes straight down through.
Which, that's a road that is not actually on our new stuff because it was moved.
What, Anglin?
Anglin, yeah,
Which Anglin, it shows Anglin.
but not in the right spot, I guess, or.
Well, let's
So
see,
we're being told it's
where's
not
Ballard
right.
Ridge Road? You pull in, Blackwood, and there's that driveway. Okay, because it would go like this. That's how that road goes. So that's right, that's across from this one right here.
Well,
So
it shouldn't, because that's my dad's old place, so it shouldn't go too much of an angle there. It should come all the way back. Is this where they moved it?
then they might have moved it then because, yeah. Then this is the old Anglin. It's kind of confusing because that corner,
It used to be a straight corner back there.
yeah, well, that
Yeah.
driveway right there is the one that owns that right there. And that actually shows that it's not on Anglin, it's on Blackwood, because they had to change their address. So, I guess that might not, that may be like, goes like this.
I think somebody felt that that wasn't an accurate representation.
Yeah, it probably isn't, and that just got passed, that's probably.
So those are, you know, there's a few
These are
things
kinda
that they
cool.
want us to do. I mean, it is really neat to have.
It does.
Yeah, here's Comeau.
Tomahawk? Didn't know we had a tomahawk.
Yeah.
Tomahawk. Tomahawk trailer, 36.
So that shows it's a recreational area. It is, but only if we invite you.
Oh, that's where yours is?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go out that way, because, you know, what if somebody shows up with a camper?
I know.
I mean, I know that's not what these are
Right.
for, but, you know.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Excuse us, missy. Yeah, these are pretty nice.
In your packets will be the documents that they want you to sign off on. I don't know if
Now, does
that
that little green arrows indicate house?
would be my assumption, those little things, yeah. There's a thing there. Yep, a residence.
Okay.
So I don't know how we send that. Because it says those little things will, I don't know. Oh, that's convene.
Yep,
That's why, maybe because it's a bigger map.
yep. But they don't have that to show that that's what that is,
Yeah,
meaning a condominium.
all right. But maybe it's something larger than a single-family residence. Probably if you looked up those numbers on this, you have something under multi.
Would be 221.
If you look up, if you're on there, on one that you want to go, yeah.
221 there, yeah, multifamily. Okay,
That's why they get it different.
unit D.
So that little road from Summer Street actually goes around the corner up there, which I didn't know.
Right, so Summer Street continues on and then it becomes church.
Yep. There's a, like I say, Barbara Charlton's right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ingles used to live here, and there's another house there, and then it becomes church.
Right.
Yeah, corner. Okay. So, on Lines Road, where is Lines Road? Doesn't show Lines
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same thing as looking it up on your computer.
Road. So that little section of Rhines Road,
Up, quick.
you know, where Rhines Road comes down the hill and goes around like that, and then there's the park
You're
But
coming
there is
from, yeah.
coming from downhill.
Mhm.
There is a road that
Mhm.
used to be Rhines Road.
Mhm.
It's
It goes in front of what's his name's house?
Beckwith's,
Mm.
yeah, and Paul.
Mhm. That's a right of way, isn't it? I think it's a right of way.
Is that, did they show on this right of ways?
I
Easements or
don't know.
whatever it is.
Easement, no, it's not, they actually,
Because-
he owns it. What Beckwith
Jetty.
says he.
How
Remember
could
we
he
had-
own it? Wouldn't Jetty own it? Because he owns the park?
Mm-mm. The town does, I don't believe, this came up with the tractor trailer guy, the tractor trailer
Yeah,
truck, and we
right.
only own this much. I don't think we own,
I don't know that
Remember?
Beckwood owned it, but I think he had a right of
oh, he had a right of way
He's got a
there or
right of way, but
something,
he
yeah.
can't own it
Okay.
because it was originally a road and I don't ever remember it being discontinued.
Mm.
So when they made it go down like that,
Mm.
but there's been some discussion about it being part of Jetty Park, but it's not. It's a
I
right
don't
of way.
believe so it is.
No, I don't
Yeah, I think
believe
we,
it is.
when we looked it up, it
We
was.
did, yeah,
It's a
that
right of
that he
way.
had a right of way
Yeah.
to use
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
all you guys have.
That's it. That's all. I just wanted you guys to be
I like
aware that that was coming on Wednesday and
So
that.
somebody's coming in to explain what they've
Explain,
done
yep,
and
Mike
how it
Kelleher
works
has
and-
been working with Cindy and Cheryl downstairs to develop a lot of this. Or if you have questions, and they go through, they did GPS tracking and all this kind of stuff to
So
develop
is this temporary or is this the final product? Just for that reason, such as your piece there
Right.
and that Anglin Road that.
I
probably
know,
ought
so
to
that
fix.
question needs to be asked
Yeah,
of
so
the
we'll
gentleman.
make sure that we
Make sure
have-
you ask that question on, and maybe how this ever came about. How this ever, I mean, we don't know
Who
why
brought this up?
Wakefield was picked to do this.
That was at the state level, I believe.
Was it?
Oh, we didn't buy this?
Can you say I couldn't hear?
At the state level. Oh,
We didn't pay, we didn't buy this?
No,
Or
no,
ask
no,
for
no.
this?
no, it's paid through, what did Cindy tell me tonight? Motor vehicle license fee.
Yes, and something else.
Oh, I'm not gonna say because I'm not exactly sure, but we did not pay for it. But in general, you might have.
Yeah, right, in the long run.
We wrote the check.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I think they're talking about maybe if you sign something, if it does, that we adopt it, do they upkeep it? That's what, another thing I don't
Or
know.
are we required to?
Or are we,
upkeep it?
right, are we required then to do something? We give them information already when there's a new
What
house.
would you use this for? I mean, give me a quick example of what, if this was up on the map, about.
Well, I could see the map is useless in my opinion, but the pointing out the confusing areas may be a good spot. Most dispatch maps will have the street numbers right next to everybody's house, and you can clearly see on the maps, but,
Yeah, you've got to keep referring, so you've got the map, and then you've got two other documents that you need to refer to
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
information.
electronically, I mean,
So it's just
it's,
great.
it's just pretty good now, yeah.
So the state's wasting their money.
Well, you gotta go out and research the whole town to find out what's confusing, and, the one that always got me
I'm
was,
sure that map was not cheap.
Mm.
I mean, it looks like it's pretty detailed, so.
Well, it's
Oh,
the
they've
data,
taken a
printing
couple
it out
years,
is cheap,
yeah.
you know, they were driving around town for a couple of months, I thought.
They told us in the spring, I think, that they
Mm.
were out and about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, April.
So it's job creation is what it is.
I know there was one spot on Pine River, I think it's Windy Ridge, and there was a south and north, but you went to the south to go north, and the north was south. They were reversed and backwards or something like that, but, I mean, there was only 2 houses on each one, so it really wasn't that.
Yeah, and like their concern, which we have brought to the board before, about Kings Island on Level Lake.
Mhm.
So to get there, they have a spot
There's a boat.
on I think Witch Truck Road, maybe.
The level lane.
Well, to get, you know, so you have, so the 911 address was given to the land where the boat is docked, or the car is stored, or wherever. But E911 would like it where the actual island is. Well, it was decided years ago from the PD and the fire and everybody that they would just go from the land. And if you got to the land, you'd be able to see what you needed to get out to. But,
Does
I
Kings
don't know.
Island have an actual 911 number?
no, that's what I'm saying. They don't have a 911 number.
No,
They have a
no,
house, huh?
They'd have a house number, but they wouldn't have a property number.
Right, but their house number is something Witch Truck Road, not something King Island.
You know, but if they
Or
were,
bracket, whatever
well,
it is,
it's because if they were to have a mailbox, it couldn't be out on Kings Island, it'd have to be on Wichita or wherever.
Right. But the street addresses were created because of E911. So this is what the guy's saying. He's like, I still think you should have a house number for King Island.
Well, King Island has a driveway, correct? They have a parking spot.
They have a
for the
parking
island.
spot.
So that
Yes.
would, to me, would be the location.
Right, and that's what our fire department, our police department, and everybody else thought, but E911 doesn't think so. They
Who's
think
E911?
this guy that's gonna be coming
Oh,
to talk
okay,
to
these
you.
people here.
Yeah. So, those are
He
just
just
some of the
wants to
things
draw
he's
that.
gonna be bringing up, he's gonna bring that up, he's gonna bring names that are similar. You know, does the board wanna change them, or do they wanna leave them the same, so,
This
just
guy
a
just wants to draw a map.
heads up.
No, it's kind of nice.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Aye.